it's funny.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but also funny. It's
Right.
like, oh my god.
It's like one of those like Blender like sand simulation tests you see on YouTube, and you like can't look away from.
So
Like, oh, that's
my whole thing, and I see Ashley just popped in. Hi, Ashley. We're talking about that horse that the supposed 3D printed. Yeah. I do have opinion. Like I think my opinion on the whole like calling everything that isn't a custom or like an OF an artist resin. I think we need to get away from that because they're not all that resin material. Sure, that's what's popular to make them with, but that doesn't mean that's what all of them are. So like, is there any way that like that term could be changed? Could you call it like artisan sculpture? And then that way, like, you know, technically it's not, oh, it doesn't necessarily mean resin.
So
it's such a weird, like, it's definitely some weird limbo that some of these sculptures are in when like, I mean, some of them are pewter and they still go in artist resin. So which artist is that from? Is it that was from
Devin Horses or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's who I got those big wings from.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So you know those giant wings that I have for Lucius? Well, I actually haven't had a chance to tell you guys this. So like,
oh no,
they were fine when I got them, and now they have shiny spots on them. They're not sticky.
No.
The spots aren't sticky, but they're shiny.
Oh boy.
Eat them.
Or at least like if you can get some kind of UV lamp, maybe stick them under a lamp for a while if you can.
There's something like an acetone rinse or I don't know if it's or alcohol or peroxide. It's one of them that you can rinse them to try and get it off, but I don't know. So in the meantime, I'm just kind of leaving them aside to see if they just disintegrate further.
That's a good plan.
Be careful with
don't touch.
Yeah, I won't.
Yep.
I've never handled something that was by like artisan that was made out of resin. Is that stuff like dangerous when it's uncured, like to touch?
Yeah.
Yes, it's toxic.
It's dangerous to breathe.
Yes.
In any vicinity.
Yep. So like if it's not cured, then yeah, you gotta make sure you don't touch that shit. You don't breathe in that shit.
You gotta put it in the biohazard bag or the giant yellow barrel.
Respirator and gloves.
And yeah, because if you have a resin printer because you need a specific 3D printer to print resin, you do not put that shit in your house. You put that in the garage, and when you print, you throw the garage door open, and you do not walk in there without a respirator because resin is just extremely, extremely toxic. To your lungs.
I don't think a lot of people realize that because you see how many people like just go ahead and make up like doing the resin pours or like how popular UV resin is like for things and like when it's cured it's totally fine, but you need to make sure that you are doing that safely because if you it's just a bad situation.
I like to watch like a bunch of niche like crafting stuff.
Yeah.
5 minute crafts.
Not 5 minutes crafts. I have taste. I promise. I promise. I promise that is not the reason why I'm deranged.
Continue.
But I watch stuff like I guess D&D dice like Ravinator.
Oh yes, yes.
That kind of thing, like making like goofy little minis and that kind of crap. But in all those, you never see anything. Oh, and like art dolls, like Delightful. I haven't watched your stuff in a while,
Delightful.
But like stuff like that, and in all those, I have never seen any of them like address that resin is toxic.
Yes.
In any capacity. So that's good to know. I never plan to like interact with it, but at least recently, but it's definitely good to like be aware that resin is highly toxic.
Yeah. That's why I was so like yes. That's why I was so like skeeved out when I had that the Mr. Super Clear stuff because it's a clear coat it is it is a clear coat, and a lot of hobbyists do use it, but it is technically a sprayable resin. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that either until I got it. And then I was looking at it, and I was like, this says it's a sprayable resin. This is so now I understand why it works excellent, but I don't want to handle it. So I'll find somebody else that does. But it's not like I was spraying it in an unsafe manner. Whenever I do any of that, it's always highly ventilated area, mask, gloves, long sleeve, something to make sure that it doesn't get on your skin,
Okay.
But it's actually a very good sealer. It's just the fact that it's a sprayable resin really tweaked me. I was I'm not gonna use that anymore. I will find a different sealer.
Yeah,
that seems unsafe.
I've been wanting to try it because I actually just found. So my Emma, my OC Candy.
Yeah.
I just found a doll that's perfect for her to customize into her, and so I was thinking about MSC, but I don't know. Are there any other sealers that doll customizers use aside from Mr. Super?
If you guys have a Reddit account, there's actually a subreddit for ball jointed dolls that's just all about customizing, and several people have brought up the oh my god, is there an alternative to Mr. Super Clear, because some people are just straight up allergic to some of the ingredients that are in it, so they're like, hey, I need an alternative. And honestly, it seems like a lot of the same sealers that you would use for model horses are pretty good for dolls. So because I have one, I also got it because I have a couple 1/6 dolls that I want to do some face up work on and stuff, and I was like, oh, perfect. Hobby Lobby actually has it. I didn't even have it shipped to me. I just straight up I walked into Hobby Lobby and I bought it. So
it must be because it got so popular, because I know for a while there Hobby Lobby didn't carry it.
No.
You had to have it shipped.
Yes.
Even though I don't have any actual hobby experience, I would have to assume a sealer that is good for getting into all those little muscle crannies in a model horse is going to do just fine on the less muscularly detailed Monster High dolls.
Right. Yeah.
Well, actually, the Monster High, it's funny you should mention, the doll that I got for my character is the G3 Draculaura.
Oh, yeah.
And I love her. She is curvy and she's so cute.
That's perfect.
I'm obsessed.
That's awesome.
From what I've seen, the new Monster Hunter. No, not that's the wrong franchise. That's the wrong franchise. They don't have
your obsession is showing.
They don't have high schoolers. That's the one where you kill the giant dragon. That's also a jet plane. I'm sorry. In Monster High, all the new Monster High designs seem really promising. They're killing it over there, and I'm good for them.
Twirls my hair. I saw those before they dropped them.
Well, the thing is, though, the new concept design, I'm not a fan of versus the old ones. I do like that the dolls have more body shapes, but Frankie, I like the old one better than the new one.
I want to know because there was an internal international kind of thing for the reveal of the dolls, and the revealer talk about I think they're making a movie or a TV show.
They're making a TV show, yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen the pilot episodes because I was really bored at a hotel and it was the only thing on.
I got to see those before the public too, just little clips of them or whatever.
Very cool.
But just the toy designers and the people who design those little guys, they read all of the fan stuff. They're like,
that's awesome.
We avoid Twitter. We're like, yeah, we avoid Twitter.
That's such a mood, honestly.
Anyone with a sense to their brain avoids Twitter. Let's be real.
Yeah. And it was really sweet though too, because in the beginning of that meeting, they talked about just how like Monster High was supposed to be like, well, we only got Barbie.
Right.
We need to get like some creepy shit up in here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like girls don't have like cool scary stuff, and then guys only have GI Joes.
Right.
Let's get something cool in here. Well, and so they're really like the people who design them and everything and work on that team are really thankful that everyone loves them.
And that's like, super cool.
Well, like with the new designs and stuff, I feel like they're less creepy and more kiddish. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean? Like, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's not a bad thing considering who they're marketing it to, but I mean, a lot of adults like them as well.
Right. It almost makes you wonder because like I only know like about Monster High stuff from Izzy's. If anybody watches Izzy's on YouTube, she does like a whole bunch of she's the one that did the Warrior Cat video that we watched after stream one time.
Yeah.
She's got an entire breakdown of Monster High dolls. It's really like fascinating to watch. So like from that I know that there are some like ones that are specifically like collectible dolls, like kind of like what Barbie does, where they have their toy line and then they're like adult, these are adult collectibles.
Right.
And I can almost see like if you're saying that the designs right now are definitely way more like kid centric, like more cutesy, less spooky. I wonder if like maybe for the collector ones they might up the ante again a little bit for the adults, knowing that the adults really like the over the top creepy stuff.
Mattel does keep in mind that a lot of the people who are buying their toys are actually collectors and people who nostalgia.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. Obviously, I don't work in that department, but it's just, it's like they do care. But I'm also like, it's also like interesting to be like, now they're too kiddish. Go creepier. And it's like you're right. I don't know why they didn't say why they made that decision, so I can't.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like with again, Frankie's an example. Just the aesthetic changes. It's in my own opinion, it's not as the color palette is not aesthetically pleasing as the original.
Let me look her up real quick.
Yeah, if you guys want to drop like example pictures into the group chat, because I think I've seen the new one, maybe. Like every now and then when I'm like scrolling through Instagram, I'll find like a reel with Monster High dolls.
The only thing that I do like about her versus the old one is that she does have a fake leg, like from her knee down.
Oh, that's cool. That's fun.
I do like that.
Yeah.
But as far as
you're telling the color palette and stuff is not
right,
quite
okay. Right, like her lipstick, for example, is more coral versus the deep red.
Okay.
It's very soft. It's much softer than the original.
This is what I got. I don't know if that matches up with that in your prescription.
That's a little. I'm not sure. I like the idea of the big platform Converse, but I wish those would have been black and not pink. Like it seems like little things that like oh, I really like this, but man, if only it was just a little bit more whatever,
Yeah. It seems like they round. Well, in case the other doll is looking to the other way, but like they rounded out her face more, which in
that's
retrospect,
what I can see too. Yeah,
but I feel like that's a better thing, just because Mattel has been trying to get away from beauty standards for inch by inch for the longest time. So that's one of the biggest changes I noticed. But I'm like, actually, that's a good thing for like girls to be like, oh, I got big cheeks, just like Frankie.
Right, and that's something like I do like I said, the body type changes. I love there's Dracula. I love that she's curvy versus the. I'll have to share pictures later. I will.
Yes.
The more vibrant palette works for Draculaura, in my opinion. But also, I just really like hot pink goth colors. It's fun. I like I like weird palettes. I can't help this.
Well, like Draculaura, like I said, I think she's my favorite out of the whole G3 line, but. Like I said, going back to Frankie, so the colors are a lot more pastel, which I wish they hadn't done, because where's the creep factor for her?
Right.
Also, the skin tone change was a bit odd. It's less corpsey, more
blue. It's very like pastel, like aqua kind of a color.
Blush,
well, she's kind of the ditz in the show. Fun fact.
Yeah.
She what now?
Frankie's the ditz. She's kind of like super energetic, kind of the quirky one. So I think that's why they went with the pastel, because that matches the new, like, I don't know if that's how her old personality was, but that's at least how she is in the new show.
Kind of. Frankie was kind of quirky. She was more like the accident. She was the new kid. She was accident prone.
Yeah.
She was very fun though, the way she was. It wasn't like, but like, I don't know. But again, like I said, the body shape changes I love, and the prosthetic leg I love.
Just looking back and forth between those two, it definitely feel like Frankie got nerfed.
It's really funny to hear like this personality discussion, because my only proper interaction with Monster High beyond like watching someone customize the dolls was that there was a book series for it back in the day, and I'm reckoning since you're Monster High fans, you probably know. But if you don't, there was one back in the day, and for whatever reason, I grabbed the first one, and it was Frankie's point of view, and you got to actually see her parents. And what I remember is that book's climax, like her getting hunted down by a mob, like proper Frankenstein movie style.
Oh wow!
And what's his name? He's like the fire, ice. He's like Heat Miser, Snow Miser fusion son.
Oh god!
He's in there. He betrays her. During the mob hunt part in
I remember like a fan-made thing. Was this?
No, this was official. This is something I bought. This is something I purchased off like a Target shelf.
Oh my god!
This was something that was sold in retail stores. This was official material. I remember
Patsy, this feels like
else.
a fever dream fan fiction. Like does anybody like?
How do you think I'm like 11 years old and reading?
Is anybody getting like trapped in an island with Josh Hutcherson vibes? Does anybody know what that is? Does no one know what that is?
The most dangerous game.
Oh no.
The most dangerous
okay.
Is that close?
I'm gonna send you guys. I'll share this in the group chat, and you guys can watch it at your leisure. There is a Wattpad fan fiction called Trapped in a Island with Josh Hutcherson, and it's exactly what you think it is.
Who is Josh Hutcherson?
Like, oh god.
The Hunger Games actor.
From Hunger Games.
Yeah.
The little kid.
Bridge to Terabithia. I'm not gonna send you guys the actual fanfic. I'm gonna send you it's a Jenny Nicholson video, and it's one of the ones that I usually end up like falling asleep to. It's honestly very like funny.
I'm gonna say it's very relaxing.
Her voice is incredibly relaxing. Seriously.
Derailing some, but that whole time we were on the boat, I was just repeatedly drowning. Like it just kept telling me the water. It just kept saying the water is too deep. You need to return to shore, and apparently respawning me over and over again. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I just going to spawn dead? But I guess it let me off, so I'm fine. But it was just like, this is interesting.
There it is, trapped in an island with Josh Hutcherson.
It looks like they updated like all the textures in South Hook.
Yeah, the pier
really nice.
looks awesome. I purposefully like rode all the way over here just so I could get a look at the pier.
Yeah.
And the mailboxes.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the mailboxes have brand new textures as well. They're completely redone.
All of them?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll look around to see if there's one else. But yeah, that's the only thing I remember happening in that Monster High book. Which makes like whenever people like talk about like the show and like or the movies really funny, because I just think about that my only interaction with like the characters having personalities was that book that had Frankie getting hunted down by humans.
Oh my god.
The only like Monster High anything that I read or watched was the original, just regular animated show. Like not the 3D animated,
the very first one.
Yes. And I liked those, but you know. I really liked Ever After High too. That was a good one.
I've heard that's pretty good. Like even just the character designs, like the Monster High team and the Ever After High team, like everything I've seen, like from as far as character designs, other than some of the like some points of this new stuff, it seems like they're really clever. What's that spider in my ear? I just passed there's like a squeaky toy noise in my ear for a second.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I don't know anything. I know even less about Ever After High, but I know one of my friends thinks the Big Bad Wolf take in there is really hot, and so I like to make fun of him sometimes.
Ever After High is just the original Descendants.
Yep,
Descendants
I was gonna say it. I was gonna say it feels like Descendants is like the ripoff Ever After High.
It is,
I gotta say, I really loved, even though some of you aren't too familiar with Ever After High, I loved, so in the story, like, so you've got Apple White and the Queen's daughter. Oh god, her name escapes me, somebody help. So basically they're supposed to follow their destiny. So the daughter of the evil queen is supposed to be evil, and she's like, no, I'm not going to be evil. And it's so funny because like you've got Apple White who's like, no, you're supposed to be the evil queen to my Snow White. Like this isn't how this works. Like I loved that. Like
forgive me if I'm wrong. Is that not the whole plot of the first Descendants?
Well,
I watched the Descendants movies the other day.
I never. Descendants is Mal more wants to be evil, or like doesn't want to be evil, treated evil anymore, and there's no one. The people pushing against her are not saying it that like she needs to fulfill her story. It's you were born to an evil person, therefore you were evil. In Ever After High, the whole concept is that like if the Raven Queen, that's the evil queen's daughter. If she doesn't assume her role as the next like evil queen, then the stories like essentially die, or like ruin, and they like ruin the stories essentially. So Apple's like future is on the line because if Raven doesn't assume her position, then her story is ruined. So that's why it's kind of it's like actually a much better plot because it actually creates this dynamic between the like characters like that.
Yeah, that's like infinitely more interesting than Descendants. The only thing that I liked about Descendants was Cruella's kid, Rip Cameron Boyce. He was that was phenomenal. I liked him a lot.
I have never seen anything about Descendants. The only like media about any of this I've seen is that it's really funny because now I'm associating fantasy Ever After High with it because I looked up the Big Bad Wolf because of this. Said friend that I mentioned earlier that I made fun of. Played The Wolf Among Us for me recently. The game because we have taste. We're not gonna. I'm not touching those comics. I read the TV tropes for those comics and it was just like, good Lord, what is this? Good thank you.
I never. Sorry, go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Wolf Among Us. My friend has like a big like fictional crush on Big B Wolf, so I was like, oh, High is a thing, because I think we were talking about in our P server, Big B and Snow them having kids. That is like done healthily and not in the really weird way Bill Willingham did it, and I'm not gonna like actually discuss it on screen because it's actually like really gross.
Sure.
We
talk about it after stream, you know, like one does.
That I was like, oh, after High is the thing. I wonder if they have a Big Bad Wolf. I look it up. He's like a silver fox.
Oh no!
Character. And this friend, if you could not tell, because they have a crush on Big B, they like those like angsty, like dad, like rugged, wolf guy types. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bully you to death. Come here, bye boy. then that let me down the scene Ever After High. So now my brain just associates Ever After High with The Wolf Among Us now, and I can't stop seeing them as like next door neighbors in my head.
Yeah,
awesome.
See, like,
I
okay,
love The Wolf Among Us. It's so good.
I feel like Batsy, I feel like you'd have a fun time with Descendants purely for stuff like that. Like, we actually should get into having or get back to having a squad movie night every now and then. Yeah. But the reason, the reason why Cruella's son is the most compelling to me in Descendants is because basically his mom is like gaslighting him the entire time. Like, he grows up afraid of dogs because she has like instilled this fear of dogs in him, and like pretty much emotionally and mentally abuses this kid his entire life. So he's like downright terrified of like everything, but especially dogs. And it's like, oh my god, that's very Cruella, you know?
Yeah. This little man predicted the live action.
He's like, son, dogs killed your grandma.
Because Dalmatians killed my mom.
Okay. Yeah. Dalmatians killed my mom. I'm glad we all know what that is.
Yeah.
We all can look at each other in agreement, like, yeah.
All right. Well, now that I have done the one thing in the update today, I'm gonna run away. Goodbye.
Just been following you this time because that's all I've thought to do.
I gotta train this horse, so I'm just gonna run around aimlessly.
Well, I will run around aimlessly after you while we talk, but I've never done, I never finished Ever After High, so I honestly have no idea how, like, the plot ends up, like, going. Like, it could have, like, taken a terrible turn. But Descendants is the worst plot I think I have ever encountered in my entire life.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire, but it's hilarious.
It's fun to watch for the sheer, absolute, horrendous stupidity of every single character in that entire series. Like, all I could think about, especially, I think it's the second one or something like that.
The second one is worse.
Like, Belle and Beast are the most useless humans on the entire Earth.
Yep.
And they rely they're like, Mal has to decide everything now. I'm like, this bitch has been in the nice world for like maybe a year, and you're already like, she has to run everything. She's like 16.
Yeah.
And then I guess in the third movie they're having a baby, and again she's like 18.
Royal wedding.
Like, what the heck?
What is happening?
Twilight works?
God.
No, we're not going to talk about Twilight yet.
No.
We can't go there yet.
So yeah,
this dumpster fire first, and then
I usually describe Descendants as the movie where every single adult is useless and the kids are exactly what you expect them to be.
But that's every teen adventure movie ever.
Yeah, I mean, look at Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us now, guys. We are the useless adults.
Yeah, seriously.
We don't have the drive.
The problem with Descendants running off that is that it has previous movies where these adults are not stupid.
Right.
Like, it literally takes all these beloved characters and is like, they are the most useless and horrible people on the planet for ostracizing all these children who have nothing to... Like, it just makes them all incredibly awful people. And it's like...
I'm gonna you guys have Descendants. But I'll do you one better. Once Upon a Time.
Okay, Once Upon a Time is garbage, but it's a train wreck you can't look away from. It's like Riverdale.
It's like its first season is done
excellent.
So good. And then after that they're like, oh shit. Oh, okay. And you're like, okay, what is this family tree? I'm pointing at all the writers. What is this family tree?
Like you said, first season of that was really good.
Yeah.
I still have favorite characters from that show.
I do too.
Same.
I like that show. Yeah.
I have never watched Once Upon a Time either, but now, because I brought up my earlier point about how I have like bonkers media associations, and while you were talking about that, I was like, I want someone to write a Once Upon a Time fanfic that ends with Bigby Wolf from The Wolf.
Oh my god.
Walks into the door and he's like, hi, are you winning?
I like their take. Once Upon a Time has a really fun take on the Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah,
and
love it actually.
I love that.
It's I'll go ahead and spoil it. The show's like 10+ years old. It is and it's not even necessarily a like a hot take on the Big Bad Wolf, because I feel like it's been done before, but it's still really interesting to me.
It's done
Little
well.
Red is the wolf.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Her red hood is what subdues the wolf inside her.
Yeah,
it has
so
a
she
magical...
has to wear it. Yeah.
So she has to wear it.
Because from what I can tell from the little research I did so that I could make fun of my friend.
Oh no. Here we go.
First point, in Ever After High, Little Red and the Big Bad Wolf have a forbidden romance.
No.
And they have two children.
No.
Ramona Wolf and Cerise Hood.
Okay.
And Cerise Hood uses her red hood to hide her wolf ears so that no one knows she's the daughter of the Big Bad Wolf.
Oh Jesus.
Don't worry about it.
Own that you're a furry, honey. Own it.
Oh,
yeah.
Another trippy one that I watched recently was The School of Good and Evil. It's like the same concept of fairy tales going to school. But the thing is, the one main protagonist you think would go to the school of princesses would go to the school of evil, while the girl who would go to the school of evil would go to the school of princesses.
Ah, the classic switcheroo.
Yeah, the classic switcheroo. And they have all these characters from like the books. In the movie, at least, I only started the book and it's as trippy as the movie, honestly. But so you have the. I think in the movie you only see one. I think one of them. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
It's like a blur in my mind because it's so trippy.
It doesn't make any sense, and therefore it's mush.
Exactly. So one of the villains was like the son of Captain Hook in the School of Evil. Then you have like the daughter of the witch who made the gingerbread house or whatever for Hansel and Gretel.
The Hansel and Gretel witch. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not too sure who the princesses are. They never really touched upon that, honestly. They're just like these random goody two-shoe princesses. And the thing is, they all have to take classes. Like, the princesses all have to take classes for like makeup, animal talking, and all the classic princesses tropes. But all the evil students have to go to school for like how to be ugly in looks, how to be how to make all these potions, and how to torture people and whatnot.
Wow.
It's like so
I want to
wild.
take a class in how to be ugly. Damn.
I know.
That sounds fun. How to be
I'm already getting an A.
How to be a hag. How to be a hag.
And
How to
all
be
the
a
guards
hag.
of the School of Evil are like werewolves, and all those guards in the School of Good is like all fairies and whatnot. It's like super funny, honestly. It's like one of those things you just have to experience at least once to just take in all the wildness of it.
In the early 2000s, like I literally read this in like elementary school that was called The Princess School. And I don't remember like anything except for it like involved like the main, I think it was about the main princesses. Like it was Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and probably somebody else. And I just remember it being like so cute, like because it had nothing to do with their ultimate stories. It was just at high school AU, basically, where they were just 4 girls that were going to learn to be princesses. And then, like, you know, while they're there, Snow White, of course, at one point pricks her finger, and I messed up the name, but you know,
I gotcha. Sleepy Beauty, you dumb bitch! Oh my god.
And there was another, I can't even remember what book series it was. It was another, it had nothing to do with the Disney princesses. It was a princess school thing, but it had nothing to do with the Disney princesses. And all I remember is one of them got cursed, where like every time she told a lie, bugs would fly out of her mouth. And every time she like said something good, like jewels would fall out of her mouth. And she like didn't like doing either because it hurt to spit jewels out.
Oh yeah, my god.
And I was like, you know, that's fair.
This like talking about this kind of stuff and like knowing that these are actually like real published things makes me feel very good as a writer. I don't know about like you guys, but But one thing that like I desperately think that we need to watch as a group, and I say this because I watched this with my friends for my 21st birthday, and we did not get, well, no, was it 21st? Maybe. I think it was.
It was a birthday of a year.
It was definitely like one of my more recent birthdays, because I remember we were breaking out the alcohol. But it's the Zombies series. Zombies, the Disney Zombies. If you guys,
I think I know what you're talking about. You've told this story before.
Absolutely fucking hilarious. It is the most downright stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like the aesthetic is garbage, but it's so perfect. Perfect in every way.
Isn't that the one where they make zombies like a racial segregation metaphor?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
And then in one of the later ones,
there's
aliens too.
Can I go home?
So basically, from what I remember happening, and this was like my favorite part, is the apocalypse kind of happened in that a huge vat of like cola like dumped onto a town and turned the residents into zombies.
What?
Yep. But like, it's absolutely fucking garbage, and I love it so much. I like making people watch it with me because I think that it's funny to watch them suffer. So,
like, hello?
If you guys are ever up for it. And the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is by the same guy. Like Kenny Ortega. Kenny Ortega is the director and I believe producer on a lot of Disney's projects, like the more like Disney Channel movie-esque stuff. He's the guy that did High School Musical. He did Descendants, and he also he did Zombies, and then a couple of years ago, his actually very, very decent project that did not get renewed for another season was Julie and the Phantoms, and that one was good. Damn it, I will stand by that.
I'd love to know what goes through his head, or how much like executive meddling he has to deal with to explain things. I would love to see how a production of his goes. Like, just out of sheer curiosity.
If you guys have seen High School Musical, and then like have seen Descendants or Zombies, and then go watch because Julie and the Phantoms was for Netflix, not Disney. It's the same kind of tone, but it is so much better, like in every sense. Just everything. The music is better. The story is actually better. There's a plot and it makes sense. And it didn't get picked up for a second season, and I was totally pissed. My mom and I were watching it together, and she will like not normally watch that kind of stuff with me, but it was pandemic, and we were both like, this looks fun, let's give this a shot, thinking it was gonna be complete trash. And then we both got really invested, and then it got canceled.
Don't you hate that?
It's the worst. But it is definitely worth watching, and the songs I have from it are on the songs I like from it are on like a lot of my like work playlists. But the guy that I said would make a good face claim for Yidris, and I know I've posted him in the group chat before, that's what show he's from. Literally, the villain is Yidris in Julie and the Phantoms. So, if that's a perk for you guys.
Get him out of there!
And fun fact.
Put that baby back in the dumpster! He doesn't belong to you!
I'm
so confused.
I was like, why am I hearing Elmo?
He's the guy, the guy that plays the villain in Julie and the Phantoms is Hades in Descendants. Why they made that choice, why he was Hades, I will never know. It's totally not fitting in the slightest. But he is actually like a pretty he is just basically Yidris. Like,
Well, like I want my I don't know. I'm guessing Hades in Descendants is looks like some middle-aged businessman, a young look more. I want my Hades to look like I dragged his ass out of the garbage.
I was gonna say it's funny you mentioned Hades looking like a middle-aged businessman because that's how he looked in Once Upon a Time.
I know. And I'm tired of it. Okay, the only modern Hades that I will stand behind is Lord Olympus because he is such a sweet man. And I'm like, you are wonderful, you're perfect. Any other middle-aged businessman Hades can eat it. You are the only one that I will allow. Any other Hades needs to look like he dragged his ass out of the garbage.
I mean, Descendants is pretty damn close.
But does he look like a...
Wait, isn't he? Oh, I know. Okay.
No, I didn't. Why does he look like that? That is horrendous. That is not being dragged out of the garbage.
He
got dragged out of Hot Topic. He got dragged out of a Spencer's. You found him in the back of the Spencer's looking at the shit he wasn't supposed to. And then you drag him out like, no, Dad, you can't be back there.
No, Daddy, you can't be there.
That is, we don't buy from the back of Spencer's.
No, that's our like spiked collars come from Hot Topic.
Some splat colors.
Isn't that actor in American Horror Story?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
No idea.
I think so. I think he plays one of the
yeah, he was the target.
No. Oh God. Splat. Yeah, he's just a walking advertisement for Splat. Never use that on yourself, by the way, ever.
Yeah, never.
It's basically fabric dye, so like, don't. I'm glad this is where the conversation has turned tonight. I feel this is great.
No, this is the only Hades that matters. When I say I dragged him out of a trash can. He needs to look like that.
And he has to be voiced by who did the voice of Hades in Hercules?
No idea.
Wait.
James Woods?
Yes, James Woods. Thank you.
And here's the other Hades, the only other Hades that matters to me. This is the Hades of my heart. Look at him.
The Hades with rights. Hades rights.
I don't know.
He has rights.
I don't know what he looks like, but I like the Hades that sings in Hades Town. I haven't watched the full play, but the Hades song is very nice. I like that voice.
Hades Town? It's called Hell? What?
Flurry with no Broadway knowledge going, it's called Hell.
Here's the song. Here you go.
I'll have to listen to it later. Oh my god.
Okay,
I know it's a Broadway musical, but you can't say that was a great old
No, it was a good joke.
No, it was good.
Cheyenne Jackson is an American Horror Story, the one who played Hades.
Okay.
Who did he play?
Crap, I just closed it.
Oh no.
He played several different people in there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But you know, I know it's funny. Wanna know what's funny?
Please.
You know when American Horror Story just fell 100% off is when they had a complete 8-episode new season drop last month, and no one breathed a word of it.
About it.
No one breathed a word. Because no one cares anymore.
Does everybody have
a story has been over since like 2017?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna ask you guys what your favorite season is, because I feel like mine is kind of controversial.
Mine is the first, because they knew what they were doing.
I didn't like the first one. I had to watch the first one twice in order to understand what the heck was happening.
I like the first a lot more because it felt like it was way more streamlined. But I don't know what my second favorite would be, because I binged all of it in 1 or 2 months.
That's what I did when I was too, in college. So it's like a blur.
So I'm like, it's like a blur. But I remember the first season because it gripped me the hardest, because I understood what was happening, because it's like it's meant to have that twist at the end that's supposed to be like, whoa, wait, whoa, hold on a second, whoa. So
I think I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite season. The first one was pretty good. I I really liked Coven. I liked Coven a
Same.
lot.
Coven is really good.
And then I also Freak Show, just because like I really like that aesthetic a lot, and I feel like the characters were very sympathetic. At least like the circus folk were very sympathetic.
With the lamest ending ever, though. Had the worst ending in all the series.
Okay. Did Freak Show have the worst ending, or was it the Asylum one? Because I think Asylum had the worst ending.
Are we talking spoilers? I don't remember how Asylum ended.
Asylum ends where they basically...
Sorry.
Oh, no. Does anybody care about spoilers? Does anybody care about spoilers?
I don't. I was just going to say I have never watched this show. I just watched like a video like saying Apocalypse is bad, and that was fun.
Apocalypse is horrible. But
yeah.
Asylum is the one that ends with the alien abductions. That it's like, all about aliens. That's how I'm remembering it.
Yeah, it ends with God, his name escapes me. Why does this happen to me?
The Evan Peters character.
Evan Peters' character gets abducted by aliens again at the end after he got cancer and was going to die anyway, so they took him. But then but that's not technically the real ending. You have Bloody Face's son coming back after Sarah Paulson's character.
Okay.
Because for giving him up.
I didn't like that. Like, I think it could have done without the aliens bit. Was the only thing for me is like it felt like it was shoehorned in for no reason. Like aliens could have been its own season.
Right, like that's how I feel with that.
Aliens was its own season.
Well, it was its own half season. If you it was its own season because that was their double feature. That was the stupidest. I could not finish that one. That was just awful. I'm just like, even my parents who also really like the American Horror Stories were like, this is the stupidest shit known to man.
Oh my god.
The vampire bit in the first half, I was okay with. This alien bit, I was like, no.
The vampire bit, I was actually this is one of the it's not perfect, but it was one of the better storylines that they've had. Yeah. Basically, it was like there's this little peninsula in Maine or somewhere, or not or Maine, I think it's Maine, where like a bunch of creatives and artists go to, directors, what have you, go to write their next best thing. And when a writer is like takes his family, it's like, well, this is where they say that, this is where they say the best things are written, but he can't get anything good. He always gets rejected. But then one of the creatives is like, hey, want to know the secret? And he's like, oh yeah, I want to know the secret.
Drugs.
So no, seriously, it's drugs.
I say we have to cook.
We have to cook. So they're like, you'll take this drug, but it's gonna make it. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. Sacrifices, as in, if you take this drug, if you are a creative individual, like actually, like your brain functions in a certain way that you are like super creative, the drug will work. But you gotta drink blood in the process. So you become a vampire essentially. But he gets addicted to it because, oh my god, he wrote the best script of his life, and his old people who like rejected him or like, actually, this is the best thing you've ever wrote. And he starts winning awards all left and right. And he's taking these drugs. And so it's like they become vampires. And I'm like, okay, that's actually, I'm going to give them, it's a weird but interesting twist.
That's weird but very different. Is that Hotel?
No, this ain't Hotel. This is like this is the double feature. This is last year's.
Okay, that one I have not seen.
Yeah, and the funny twist is his daughter, who is like 12, gets a hold of the pills. They have there's a baby in the family and a mom. And the thing is, if you take the pill, but you're not a creative like art and writing. No, you become a Nosferatu looking bitch, and you become mindless.
Basically, you turn into a ghoul. Like it's like the vampire.
A ghoul.
Oh shit.
it's like, okay, this isn't the best one in all of American Horror Story, but it's actually a real interesting twist. Of course, my parents didn't agree, like, we didn't find it that good. I'm like, I do, because I understand. I am artiste.
The thing is, too, like, it was such... I'll admit, like, in Double Feature, like, I was sucked in the entire time of that first half, where I was like, this is really good. Like, I've watched it over, like, several times.
Oh, interesting.
So then, okay, because I can't quite remember, like, how Freak Show ends. So how does Freak Show end?
Everyone dies.
Freak Show ends with, Elsa gets her,
she gets her
show, but she performs on Halloween because she was about to lose everything anyway because of a scandal with when she got her legs cut off in Germany. And so she performs on Halloween, and that Ezra Bordry comes for her.
Yep. That was the one thing I think I was missing, like, from thinking back on Freak Show, was because there was that whole superstition of, like, oh, you can't perform on Halloween because then they'll come back for, like, the one guy will come back for you. Okay.
But no, honestly, like, Coven is one of my favorites. Asylum was good aside from the alien bit. Like
Asylum. Other than the little alien bit at the end.
What was Asylum? Was that one like the nuns and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it nuns?
I don't think I cared about that one.
It was Sister Jude and Sister Mary Eunice.
Okay, yeah, because it was the
way,
lesbian
guys,
journalist.
If you haven't checked the bonus shop, there's a halter there.
Oh.
On my way. But honestly, like, I think not many people like this one, but I like Hotel.
I did not like Hotel until I think the last 2 episodes.
Hotel was the one that I never finished. I don't remember thinking it was bad, but I just never finished it.
The one thing that I will say is that no media should ever do this, is make real life serial killers into zany little characters. And that's what Hotel did. You just don't cross that line.
I liked that in the show itself. And I liked, because I'm a person that likes puzzles, so when I can connect things, whether it's from real life to shows or from show to show, and that was the cool thing about American Horror Story, that each season connected to each other in a different way. But with I loved the Devil's Night bit. I love James Patrick March. He is I love Evan Peters as him. I think he was fantastic. I loved, and a lot of people, have mixed opinions about this too. I loved Lady Gaga in the season.
Lady Gaga
she was fun.
She did fantastic, being that emotionless stone face countess. Well, for a good bit until you found out more about her.
Right.
But yeah, James Patrick March is my favorite character in that whole season.
Yeah. I just like the end, or I think their pronouns or they them, and they decide to die in the hotel to stay immortal with all of their friends. I know they were transgender throughout, in the series and everything, but it's just that's when I care. Yeah, I'm honestly, if they made
Cleopatra.
Yes.
Yeah, Cleopatra. If they made the whole season about Cleopatra, and I know they wouldn't, because people are execs are homophobic as fuck. I'm just if you made this whole season about, I think it was
just would have been a better story.
Instead, it would have been so much better, because for whatever reason, the end makes me fall in love with those last 2 episodes, because it's all about her and finding acceptance in her body and who she is and her found family in that hotel. And I'm okay, now I care, because I didn't give a shit about whatever the rest of this season was.
The whole bit too. I think like you said, that whole bit with Cleopatra really, got to me. And then also, that's one of the things that made me love the Countess more, was knowing that she helped Cleo to kind of start that transition.
Yeah.
I think that's about where I got to. Because, like, that's close to the end, but it's not the end, right? Or is that, like, towards the middle?
That is, like, that's, like, way towards, like, beginning, middle-ish.
Okay, because I definitely, like, I remember that. I do remember that, because I was like, oh, that's actually, like, a really good plot point. Like, can we focus on this for a while?
Yeah, Cleopatra was definitely another favorite character.
Yeah.
The one that's really, like, on the fence for me as being, like, an interesting concept, but also simultaneously very forgettable, is the Roanoke one.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of that one at first. I honestly had to watch it a couple times to actually be more okay with it, but I was not. I guess I was kind of blindsided by the whole, like, documentary type feel.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, what is this?
I know, because I liked the documentary parts. I liked the idea of these people like pretty much telling that story. But then it got really weird of like, okay, why are you actually going there? Why are you stupid enough to get involved in this when you've seen how it ends up the first time? Like,
I know that whole second bit where they all go back. I'm like, are you kidding?
That's what bothers me.
Why would you go back?
I'm like, just do one season worth of mockumentary. Just do that. That could have been totally fascinating.
Oh,
Just keep going.
Which speaking of Emma, the guy in that convinced them to go back for a second season, that's the one who plays Hades in Descendants. That was one of the characters.
Is that are we talking about Apocalypse?
No, Roanoke.
No.
Roanoke. That's the one that I can easily forget because it didn't capture me that easily.
Yeah.
After I'm done with the series, I want to know what the newest season is because there was no advertisement everywhere.
Okay, so the new season is NYC.
Oh yes.
NYC,
yes.
New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more centered around the gay community and what's happening with them. And also, they also have, I don't know if you guys have seen American Horror Stories.
I've only seen
I haven't watched any, but I know of them.
It's pretty good. I like what they have so far, and I really wanted it to continue, but then they started NYC, and I was like, okay, so it's probably going to be put on hold or whatever. But I liked it.
Oh, yeah, and then Apocalypse. Did not watch. I got 2 episodes in and I was like, I can't do this.
It ties in Coven and the Murder House and then one of the other. And I'm not gonna say it's like the best thing, but it was really neat. They're like, we gotta go back to the Murder House.
The only part, and slight spoilers because I mean you didn't finish it, but do you guys care?
No.
Okay, so with Apocalypse, my favorite bit was when Marie Laveau came back to life.
Okay, yeah, I do like, I've seen bits of Apocalypse. Like I said, it's all a blur. So I probably feel like I gave like a good chunk of the season a chance because I remember the whole bit with like Madison in like purgatory.
Yeah, that was good though.
And Marie Laveau coming back. I just really hated the very first episode with like the actual apocalypse happening. My brain was like, no. But yeah, the tie-ins were very interesting. That was the one part of the season I think I liked. But let's see. Going off of like the American Horror Stories series feel has anybody checked out Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosity on
I've gotten a few. I got a few, and I have not finished all of them. I don't want too many spoilers.
I've gotten to episode 4 or 5. I'm not sure. But I love them so far.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
I am sleep crashing real hard, so I'm gonna hop off now to go.
Okay. Have a good night.
Very cool conversations. Good night.
Good night. Yeah, like that's one that I don't want spoilers for because I feel like I will actually go watch those. I've seen bits of animation from it.
It's really good so far.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard, and like I love Del Toro's work. I'm very excited for when Pinocchio comes out. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm so excited.
Oh, it's gonna be such a treat. The reviews from like early, the reviews from like early people are like, this is amazing, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited, I'm gonna cry.
Please let there be hope for live action Disney films.
Well,
this one is
remake. Disney remakes, I should say.
This one
this
is
ain't a Disney remake.
No, it's the original story of Pinocchio, and it's all done in stop motion. And I'm very excited.
Yeah, wait, Disney has no, Disney doesn't own Pinocchio. It was originally like a little fable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Well,
what?
This is the year of a Disney Pinocchio did come out. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
I swear.
Okay,
not
I was
crazy.
about to say what?
No.
Yeah, you're not crazy.
This is like the year of Pinocchio films for some reason.
Honestly, it's probably because I think it's because different execs at different times got caught wind of, oh, we gotta compete.
Right.
We got the knockoff trying to compete. We got the actual powerhouse Disney trying to compete. But now the actual king is coming in at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see I'm looking at the images for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, so the Disney one I heard was complete trash. Which is unfortunate.
There is no heart in it. I know for a fact they rushed that. No, and I know for a fact they rushed that live action to be quote unquote in competition with Del Toro. And I bet Del Toro just went, well, let's just delay when I'm releasing this then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a hold my beer moment.
Del Toro, you know, his reputation is like he's amazing at what he does. So it's like, I'm like, a heartless Disney remake to like try and go up against him is just like, you can't beat Del Toro.
Do you guys want to know like the one thing about the new Pinocchio, like the Disney one that like completely gutted me is, okay, so there's two things. The first one is the whole thing with Pleasure Island is supposed to be like the boys are doing bad things and they get punished by turning into donkeys. Why do they turn the whole the emphasis is that they're there doing bad things. They're getting punished for doing bad things. Why do you take away the fact that they are drinking beer? Like you were already demonizing it. Don't demonize drinking root beer. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, why did you remove the alcohol? And it's like, oh, we wanted to like, oh, kids shouldn't be drinking alcohol. That's bad to show. Well, that's the whole point. That's the entire lesson.
And it's like it's the entire lesson.
Because now they're gonna think, oh, if I drink, like kids, younger
now I'm gonna get in trouble for drinking soda.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they're gonna go and.
God. I'm trying to remember. Like Pinocchio came out in like 1940, right?
Yeah,
the original Disney.
It's old.
1940, and I don't know if there was even a drinking age law at that time.
I'm not sure.
It's like so I get that they're like, oh my gosh, we don't want to show kids drinking beer because there are laws in media that you can't cross, and that I think that is one of them.
They could have done it without calling it root beer.
They could have. They could have called it something completely different.
They could have not even labeled the thing. Just made it look like a beer stein or like a beer like keg.
So after, so let's see here. So in 1933 was when the legal age of 21 was set in Pinocchio.
Yeah, I think Pinocchio came out in 1940 because Snow White came out in the 1930s. Pinocchio was their second feature film.
Yeah. So then the other part that bothers me, and I feel like this is something that you guys would have to watch side by side, is the original transformation scene where the boy turns into a donkey versus the new one.
It's horrific.
The original one is like yeah, like Laurie said, it's absolutely horrific. Like it really makes you like feel for the character, and like it's absolutely terrifying. And then the new one is just kind of like uncanny valley and weird, and it doesn't feel scary at all.
It makes me really excited to see what Del Toro is going to do with that segment. I'm like, can I see? Because stop motion can be the creepiest shit imaginable,
and his designs are already like easily. If you haven't seen those character designs for
they're good.
The stop motion one, they're very does anybody know the illustrator was it, I think it's Chris Grimsley? I'll have to drop some. He recently did some work for Disney. Actually, he made he did a illustrated Hocus Pocus book. And my professor in my illustration professor actually tipped me off to him when I was doing some illustration projects, and he was like, hey, these aren't necessarily like your like vibes 100%, but I feel like you could like take a lot from this. And he was absolutely right. There's an illustrated Brothers Grimm like from him. I'll send you guys the cover of his new well, maybe this isn't that new, but he did a Frankenstein book as well. And maybe he did work on on Del Toro's Pinocchio, because this is his Pinocchio from how long ago is this? But that's very
similar.
That looks exactly like it. So
yes,
I would not be surprised if Chris Grimsley did some work on for character design concept art on the new Pinocchio. This was from 2015. So let me look up.
He probably did.
Yeah, that's kind of what I am thinking now. Yes.
So,
yes.
Note,
producer.
Who's
He's the producer.
Right.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
side note, who's excited for the snow update next week?
Me.
Oh, me.
I bet so
We'll do a trail ride next week.
Absolutely.
Can we go to the end of the world next week? In the snow?
Yeah, assuming that we're not grinding for tornadoes.
Terrifying. Yeah.
But like, listen, end of the world with the snow that thick.
Yeah.
We are not gonna know where to jump, and it's gonna be awesome.
Speaking of, I'm gonna hop off stream.
Bye,
and I'm actually gonna grab a horse that I can go up there with right now, because I got up there in 5 minutes the other day. Like, I timed myself and I was like, oh my god, this was much easier than Lurie and I were doing.
Well, wait for me. I have 2 more races I gotta do.
I'll grab a horse and then I'll run up to that point. So good night, stream. We won't be on Saturday night because I have craft sale.
Good night,
but good night.